Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and this mailbag was filmed on Tuesday, so please keep that in mind. And if you want to get those questions on our show, you got to join our live shows here on the Raiders Report. We got a big game coming up on Sunday. I can't wait. Remember, spam those FLACs. Let's go to Anthony Morales. We should go get Gabe Jackson back. No cap. Unfortunately, I'm going to disagree. Hootie! Oh, man, Hootie. Anthony, I say no to Gabe Jackson. I know that some people like him. He's done a lot of good. Unfortunately, though, I'm going to say no. Let's go to Cameron Sproul. Waller goes off against the Chargers. 8 grabs for 141 and 2 touchdowns. He says, now pay me. I will say Waller historically has dominated the Chargers. So if you got Waller in a fantasy league, you want to play him in whatever you're doing, this is going to be a really, really good place to do it. And Jeremy, we got some fantasy stuff coming up here, so just keep that in mind. Let's go to Hootie Lord. The Bolts don't want this smoke. Raiders! You're right, they don't. They're not ready for it. I know a lot of people want to talk that whatever about the Chargers. I can't wait. Because as far as I'm concerned, the Raiders have been actually a very good NFL Week 1 team. They have been. Over the past few seasons, they've been solid. Nobody thought that we would beat the Ravens last season. I think you're going to get a very, very similar thing this upcoming year as well. So remember, y'all, we're going to be doing a watch party starting 15 minutes before kickoff. So the Raiders game starts at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time and 1:10 Pacific Time. So Jeremy and I, we're going to be rocking and rolling with y'all. So hit that subscribe button and make sure that you are ready to cheer on the Raiders up against the Chargers. We're going to be treating this like a tailgate party in Oakland, Los Angeles, Las Vegas. We got giveaways, so if you want to try to win some stuff, money included, join the show. It's going to be a hell of a time. Here's my question, though. Where are you watching the game on Sunday? Are you watching it with friends and family? Are you watching it at home? All I want to know is if you could, this helps me out a lot. Even if you're watching the game with friends, turn on the Raiders Report, put it on your phone, and interact with us, man, because I miss being able to go to games, hanging out with y'all, but I love what we do here. So let me know down in the comments who and where you're watching the game. Let's go to Brandon Jasper. Shot clock, shot clock, shot clock. Brandon, after this mailbag, we'll do a shot clock just for you because we're getting really close to me doing a boot. Let's go to Michael and Annie Haynes. How do you see Chargers secondary lining up with our receivers? If they don't have J.C. Jackson, it's going to hurt. However, the Chargers also have a guy named Derwin James. They have a pretty solid secondary unit in general. I am curious of how the entire defense looks, but it starts up front. If Bosa and Mack and their defensive tackle's name is escaping me, if they can get pressure on Carr, it's going to be a rough game. We know that. If you can get pressure on DC, he struggles. Every quarterback struggles when you get pressure on him. The real question is, can the Raiders' offensive line hold up? Because the offense, our wide receivers and tight end room, will outmatch the secondary of the Chargers. What up, Chris? I'm worried about the O-line this weekend because of the Chargers' pass rush. I literally just said it. They got one of the best pass rush duos in the league, just like the Raiders do. If the offensive line for the Raiders can hold up, the Raiders will win this game. Let's go to Darius Owens. I believe that's right. Will Carr throw for 300 yards against the Chargers? He doesn't need to throw for 300 yards. I would rather, if Carr could put up a stat line of 260, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, the Raiders win that game. Hell, last season when the Raiders won, Carr threw for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. You just can't turn over the football against a very good Chargers team. But what do y'all think? Take a guess right now. How many passing yards for DC up against the Chargers? We have a number 1 wide receiver. You got an incredible tight end in Darren Waller, one of the best route runners in the league in Hunter Renfrow. A hell of a running game as well. But the offensive line does matter. So how many passing yards for DC? Let's go to one of the OGs, Cameron Sproul. What up, my dog? At this point, I would bring back Donald Penn. No, you wouldn't. Donald Penn again. Another name. I know that y'all love to bring back some of these older players. He's 36 years old. I don't think that he's healthy. And I think if you put Donald Penn at right tackle, that would be a bigger eyesore than Jermaine Illuminor and Thayer Munford. It would be. I'm sorry, it would be. Let's go to Christopher McGuire. The linebackers must contain Ekeler. the Raiders in general must contain Ekeler. Ekeler last season carved up the Raiders, man. Running the football, catching. I want to see how Jayon Brown lines up against him because it's going to be a hell of an assignment. But then also that Raiders interior defensive tackle room needs to step up because if you let Ekeler start carving you up and then you got to worry about the running game, that's going to set up play action for Herbert where he can really beat you with guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, hell, even Palmer, their third wide receiver. But you're right. Got to contain Austin Ekeler. You got to contain a lot of people, right? Now, if you want to be able to have some fun this year, I love, and I mean love the Boom Fantasy app. Y'all know that I'm a fantasy football junkie, and I've been telling y'all for a long time, hey, come compete against me on some fantasy apps out there. So personally, I love the Boom Fantasy app, and you guys can get started with Boom at chatsports.com/boom. But Boom Fantasy is back and better than ever, now live in the App Store and in 26 states. Boom Fantasy has the only daily fantasy sports game where you can win 40 times your entry every single night. Boom Fantasy is bringing you the best lines from player props in the business and is the fastest and easiest DFS app out there for new users. Get 100% bonus on your first deposit now and get in the game. Click the link in the video description to get started or search Boom Fantasy on the App Store and get in the game today. It's chatsports.com/boom. I don't know about y'all. Do you think Derek Carr is going to have more passing yards than Justin Herbert? Do you think Devontae Adams is going to outplay Keenan Allen? Do you think Josh Jacobs is going to run wild on that Chargers team? If you want to put your money where your mouth is, it's chatsports.com/boom. 100% deposit bonus. It's pretty damn good. Let's go to Adam. What up, my man? Raiders sent out their starting depth chart. You're right. They did. I've talked about it before. The starting offensive line, according to the Raiders right now, Colton Miller, John Simpson, Andre James, Lester Cotton, Jermaine Illuminor. That's your starting offensive line. Let's go to Cameron Sproul, kidding about Penn. I mean, you can kid about Penn. If you super chat it, though, I'm going to take it serious. I gotta. Brandon, which wide receiver has the biggest game? Devontae Adams? That's my guess. I do think, though, the Raiders are going to be an offense this season, and I do think that Adams' numbers come down from his target share. The Raiders are still going to use him heavily, but every single week I'm going to bet on Devontae being the top guy. And don't get me wrong, if it's Hunter's week, great. If it's a big Tyron Johnson touchdown catch, great. The Raiders are going to be an offense. Carr has always been somebody that spreads the ball out, but I'm going to go with number 17. Let's go to Jake. You're next up here on the Raiders Report. Are you worried about Khalil Mack against the Raiders' whole line? Of course I am. Are you worried about Joey Bosa against the Raiders' offensive line? Are you worried about the Raiders' offensive line? I mean, I can just end it right there. We still do not know at the time I am recording this video of who's going to be the starting right tackle, whether it's going to be Jermaine Illuminor or Thayer Munford. Either one, though, it's a test. You're going up against one of the best edge rushers in the entire league, which then, shout out to Jeremy for making this, how many times will Derek Carr get sacked against the Chargers? If the number is 4 and above, I think the Raiders lose this game. If you can keep it 3 and under, to me, the Raiders win that game. We can talk about Devontae, you can talk about all these skill position players all you want. It's going to start up front. And the right side of the offensive line is definitely worrisome. So let me know, how many times will Derek Carr get sacked against the Chargers? Braxton Brown, let's see how our tight end side, let's see how our right side of the offensive line. I guess you're saying the right side of the offensive line, it's either going to be, if Lester Cotton's healthy, he's going to be your starting right guard, and then Jermaine Illuminor, I believe, is going to be your starting right tackle, though Thayer Munford still has a chance to play right tackle, and if Lester Cotton is unable to play, then look for the rookie Dylan Parham to kick over there to right guard. Michael, what up, my bro? Can we please have faith in the coaching staff and our team? I do have faith in the coaching staff. The issue is this. I'm a straight shooter. My job here on the show is to give you guys my honest opinion. I think I've been very right about a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. I've been wrong as well. That's always going to come with the business. But my job is to say, if I don't like something, I'm going to tell you about it. But I do have a lot of faith in this coaching staff. The issue is, though, you can do a lot of things great in the offseason. If it doesn't result in games won, then I don't know how much faith you have, man. Let's go to the next one coming in here from Kyle. Who will be a dark horse MVP against the Chargers? Usually when people say MVP, you usually go with the offensive side of the football. I'm going to go with Maxx Crosby, man. I think Crosby gets 2 sacks in this game. If he's going to be lining up against the Chargers right tackle, who again gave up 9 sacks last season, he's a lot better in the run game. He struggles against the pass. Crosby's going to feast. And then if you try to double team Max, that's going to potentially open something up for Chandler Jones. Or it's going to open up some stuff for guys like Jonathan Abram. You're going to open up stuff for Denzel Perriman, somebody like a Divine Diablo. The Raiders have a lot of other options here, and I can't wait to see how Patrick Graham mixes in this defense this upcoming season. Now, please don't go to that. So we got Kyle Lauber. Again, appreciate the question. Much love to all y'all for tuning in here. Again, if you want to get those questions, comments on the show, use hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat. Manuel, too excited for Sunday. So many players I want to see show out. I'm with you, man. That's why I'm telling you, I'm excited for this. Watch the Raiders play. I'm excited for football to be back. I'm excited to hang out every Sunday with the nation. Let's go to the original shot. Going to have Herbert begging for a tie again. You know, I think it's funny how many Chargers fans have been just trying to ruffle up my feathers this entire week. Kind of like, you know, Jack Sperry trying to ruffle up my feathers on Twitter, which is fine. That comes with the territory of doing these shows. But I'm with you. I don't think they know what's coming, man. I don't think they know. What up, Juicehead? Who are your projected team captains for the 2022 season? All right, let's go. Derek Carr, Maxx Crosby, Devontae Adams, Denzel Perriman. I've done this show a few times already. I actually think Daniel Carlson will get a nod here as a team captain. I don't know if they'll give it to Colt Miller because he's such a quiet player. I'm trying to think of some of the other guys that I've mentioned on past shows. Deron Harmon could absolutely be a name to keep in mind. I do feel like I got to get one more in there, though. They might even give it to Renfro. He's a quiet dude, but could definitely be somebody to keep in mind. I don't know how many I named, but hopefully y'all can agree with me on some of those names there. Let's go to Big. What up, my man? Why not switch our right tackles every 2 plays like wide receivers to keep them fresh? I also think there's a part of that of, yeah, you might be able to keep them fresh, but I'm also a big believer in reps and continuity and having good chemistry with your offensive line, and I just think that wouldn't be the best move to do. You got to keep one guy out there if he's healthy, if he's playing well, you know, you're working in, you got to keep those reps coming. So I like the idea. I respect your idea. I'm just going to say no to it. Let's go to Entrepreneurs. What do you think the Raiders still need the most? Right tackle. Right side of the offensive line, and then you need a defensive tackle. Also, outside of Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfro, their wide receivers, they scare me. I don't have confidence in Matt Collins, Tyron Johnson, or DJ Turner to be a solid third option in any offense right now. I just don't. They're good special teams players. That's it. What up, Jules? I'll be at the game on Sunday with my uncle and little bro to celebrate his 22nd birthday. Cheers, fellas. Raiders! And yes, the silver and black run, LA. Dude, have fun. Happy birthday to your little bro. 22 years old, man. That's cool. I'm jealous. Let's go to Silverface. What up, dude? Do you think McDaniels wasted valuable time with the Featherwood at right tackle project? Yes, I do. Instead of finding a reliable starter in the preseason. Yeah, I do. I said every time he went out there at right tackle, it drove me nuts because he was never going to be a right tackle. He's never going to be an offensive tackle in the NFL. He is built to be a guard. And I do think that not having him on the team hurts our depth here a little bit. I will be honest with you. I still think Leatherwood would have been a good project to keep on your team. No, he was never going to be that first-round pick. But again, if it was up to me, he never would have been drafted in the first round anyway. It's definitely a lot of frustration there. But, yeah, you wasted time. Simple as that. What up, Cameron? Appreciate the super chat, my dog. Mitch, because of our O-line woes, Carr will be getting rid of the football fast, and the receivers will be running 5 to 10-yard routes, at least at first. I agree. If I'm the Raiders, my first quarter plan is to try to get the football out of Carr's hands quickly, or the other way that you can tell or try not to, what's the word I'm looking for? If defenses start blitzing you a lot, you do a lot of running back screens, a lot of wide receiver screens, and you saw early in the preseason, especially in that NFL Hall of Fame game, which I actually think is the game that you saw most of what the Raiders were actually going to run in their offense, a lot of running back screens, getting those running backs involved to take some of that pressure off of the offensive line. I get it, guys. I can't get to every single one of y'all's questions. Blame Jeremy, not me. You can always interact with me on social media, at Twitter and Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365, and during the games. Every single regular season game this year, we're going to be doing a 50-50 raffle. So you have to hit me up on Venmo. Add me as a friend at Mitchell Renz 365. If you don't know what Venmo is, it's like a money app. It doesn't cost anything to download the app, and it's an easy way where you can transfer money between friends. Full disclosure, we're going to do a 50-50 raffle, and whoever we pick, you're going to win money. I'm going to send it to you on Venmo. So hit me up at Mitchell Renz 365.